Arsène Wenger, OBE, born the 22nd of October 1949, is a French football manager and former player. He has been the manager of Arsenal since 1996, where he has since become the club's longest-serving manager and most successful in terms of major titles won. Football pundits give Wenger credit for his contribution to the revolutionising of football in England in the late 1990s through the introduction of changes in the training and diet of players. Wenger was born in Strasbourg and raised in Duttlenheim. He was introduced to football by his father, the manager of the local village team, after a modest playing career, in which he made appearances for several amateur clubs. Wenger obtained a manager's diploma in 1981. Following an unsuccessful period at Nancy which culminated in his dismissal in 1987, Wenger joined as Monaco. The club won the league championship in 1988. In 1991, Wenger guided Monaco to victory in the Coupe de France, but the failure to regain the league title in later seasons led to his departure from the club by mutual consent in 1994. He briefly coached Japanese J-League side Nagoya Grampus 8, which won the Emperor's Cup and Japanese Super Cup during his stint. In 1996, Wenger was named manager of Arsenal, and 2 years later the club completed a League and FA Cup double. The club won another League and Cup double in 2002 and retained the FA Cup a year later. In 2004, Wenger managed Arsenal to an undefeated league season, a feat last accomplished by Preston North End 115 years previously. Arsenal later eclipsed Nottingham Forest's record of 42 league matches unbeaten and went 7 more matches before losing in October 2004. The club made the first appearance in a Champions League final in 2006, though they lost to Barcelona, after a period of 9 years without a trophy, which coincided with the club relocating to the Emirates Stadium. Wenger guided Arsenal to further FA Cup success in 2014 and 2015. Alongside George Ramsay, he is the most successful manager in the competition's history with 6 titles. The nickname Le Professeur is used by fans and the British media to reflect Wenger's studious demeanour. His approach to the game emphasises an attacking mentality with the aim that football ought to be entertaining on the pitch. Wenger's Arsenal teams have been criticised for their indiscipline. His players received 100 red cards between September 1996 and February 2014, though the team has won awards for sporting fair play. At Monaco, Wenger earned a reputation for spotting young talent, and he has remained focused on developing a youth system. Early life. Wenger was born on the 22nd of October 1949 in Strasbourg, Alsace, France, to Alphonse and Louise Wenger. Arsène was the third of the 3 children. He lived in Duttlenheim during the 1950s, but spent most of his time in the neighboring village of Duttlenheim, 10 miles southwest of Strasbourg. Alphonse, like many Alsatians, was conscripted into the German army by force following the earlier annexation of the French region of Alsace-Lorraine by Germany. He was sent to fight on the Eastern Front in October 1944, at the age of 24. The Wengers owned an automobile spare parts business and a bistro titled L'Equateur. It meant that they had difficulty looking after the children, but Duttlenheim was a village where everyone took care of the young. Wenger compared it in later years to a kibbutz. Before Wenger started school at the age of 6, he expressed himself in the local Alsatian dialect of Low Alemannic German. The primary school which Wenger attended was run by the Catholic Church. As one of its brightest students, he later was accepted into a secondary school in Obernai. According to his father, who also managed the village team, Wenger was introduced to football at about the age of 6. He was taken to games in Germany, where he held an affection for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Alsace was an area steeped in religion. Wenger and the village boys often needed to seek permission from the Catholic priest to miss Vespers in order to play football. Playing career. Because the population of Duttlenheim was short in numbers, it proved difficult to field a team of 11 players of equal ages. Wenger did not play for FC Duttlenheim until the age of 12. Claude Wenger, a teammate of Arsène, noted his lack of pace as a player. Marcel Brandner, president of FC Duttlenheim, said Wenger had an ability to guard the ball. He seemed to have a complete vision of the pitch, and he certainly had an influence among his teammates. As a young teenager he was called Petty. The nickname ceased when he had a growth spurt and broke into FC Duttlenheim's first team. Aged 16. The team did not have a coach to prepare the players tactically, rather a person who supervised training sessions. Wenger took it upon himself to manage the side. Claude recalled, Arsène wasn't the captain, and yet he was. It was, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. He was the leader. Quote, in 1969 Wenger was recruited to nearby third division club Mutzig. The club was famed for playing the best amateur football in Alsace and managed by Max Hild, who would later go on to become Wenger's mentor. Wenger's emergence at Mutzig aged 20 was considered too late for him to build a reputable playing career. Football was not seen as his future. The plan was for him to run the family's spare parts business. He was, however, of the age to start increasing his tactical knowledge of the sport. He frequently read France football and alongside Hild made trips to Germany to watch Bundesliga matches and observe the different managerial styles. During Wenger's 3 years at Mutzig, the club beat FC Strasbourg 6-3 to win the Coupe d'Alsace. He also represented Alsace in a competition held annually between the regional leagues. Wenger took his studies further and in 1971 enrolled at the Faculté des Sciences Économiques et de Gestion at the University of Strasbourg to read politics and economics after a brief stint in medicine. In 1973, he joined semi-professional club Mulhouse and balanced his football career with his education. Wenger completed an economics degree a year later. He was selected to represent the national French students squad and visited Nigeria, Lebanon, and Uruguay, where the World Students' Championship was held in 1976. Wenger did not participate in the event as he was injured. Jean-Luc Ribot, captain of the team, recalled, by the end of the trip, Arsène had almost taken on the role of assistant coach and team joker rolled into one. At Mulhouse, Wenger was managed by Paul France, who, like Hild, had a profound impact on his career. It was he who formalized Wenger's beliefs on the importance of nutrition, isometrics and working on a player's strong points. Wenger played in midfield for Mulhouse, often positioned on the right. In the final game of the 1974-75 season, the club beat his Nancy to avoid relegation, but shortly afterwards France resigned. Wenger also made the decision to leave, as the regular commutes to Mulhouse from Strasbourg overwhelmed him. In 1975 he rekindled his friendship with Hild and signed for amateur club ASPV Strasbourg. Hild needed a midfielder who could organize play and also have a sort of hold over the team, and decided to recruit Wenger. Vauban was formed in 1971 and made steady progress up the French Football League system thereafter. Wenger's 3 seasons at the club culminated with promotion to the third division. In 1978 Hild joined RC Strasbourg as coach of the reserve team. The role required him to scout, so Hild wanted an experienced player to work with the youth while he was away. Both Hild and France recommended Wenger, which convinced manager Gilbert Gress to appoint him. Wenger's playing career at the age of 28 began to wane, but he never anticipated a role in the first team. Working for RC Strasbourg, however, presented him his first full-time job at the club he supported as a young boy. Hild moved Wenger from midfield to central defence, where he was positioned as a sweeper in reserve games. In November 1978 he made his debut for the first team against MSV Duisburg in the UEFA Cup, and a month later played against champions AS Monaco in the first division. At the end of the 1978-79 season, RC Strasbourg won the league. Wenger did not join in the celebrations as he was preoccupied with the youth team. He made his final appearance for the senior side in 1979. Wenger spent the last 2 years of his playing career predominantly running RC Strasbourg's reserve and youth team. He became conscious of the importance of speaking English and during his holidays enrolled on a 3-week language course at Cambridge. Wenger also studied for his coaching badge at the Centre de Ressources d'Expertise et de Performance Sportives in Strasbourg. This consisted of a course to coach children, followed by an intensive 6-day course which led up to the national coaching badge. The latter program took place in Vichy and was spread over 3 weeks. Wenger was able to put France's teachings, particularly isometrics, into practice. In 1981 he received his manager's diploma in Paris.